Hello, this is the Tradesight Forex roadmap for the week the week beginning Sunday, March 3rd, 2013, ending Friday, March 8th, 2013. Just to note that next Saturday night, going into Sunday the 10th, U.S. side has the time change here. So be aware of that, as that often shifts the first hour trading activity a little bit and kind of throws off Forex for a couple of days in terms of how they start the European session and the U.S. sessions. Everybody's not on the same time zone exactly. So let's take a look at the dollar index daily chart here. We had 9 bars up this week, a complete 9 bar up setup phase, and kept going. Dollar index very, very strong here, breaking out of through a static trend line like it wasn't even there. Big move for the month of February and led to big gains. We've posted our net results of our basic trade calls to our blog, and we made 325 pips net to final targets on those trades, and that's not surprising considering we actually started seeing some trades follow through more than just one day. That's what you like to see in Forex. I'd like to pull up the pound and show you something special there. Here's a look at the pound with the Comer, and you can see that on the daily chart. I'm sorry, with the Seeker, and you can see on the daily chart we had a buy signal just over a week ago, and then another 9-bar setup phase, which is also a reversal, potential reversal signal. From that buy signal, we have this pink risk line, and we're already attacking that line. We bounced right off of it today, and if I switch the tools and I go and pull up the Comer instead of the Seeker, what you're going to notice is that we also had a 9-bar setup there on the Comer this way, or the 9-bar setup would be there either way. We had previously recycled a count that would have got us to a 13 signal right around the same time. But the thing to remember is when you're looking at that Seeker setup, remember that when these risk levels appear after the 13 setup, if you break them quickly, it usually leads to a fairly big move in that direction, in the continuation direction, instead of the reversal. So if we get a close under this risk line, looks like much lower numbers for the pound, and keep in mind that means much stronger numbers for the dollar again. So the dollar may have a lot of room left to the upside here. So this will be very, very interesting to see how this plays out. Other than that, everything else, we've seen some decent ranges, some good follow through. Let's just get to the roadmap for the week and talk about what's going to be coming out in terms of economic data this week that we need to be aware of. So here's a look at Sunday. Again, not too much on a Sunday. We've got building approvals out of Australia, commodity prices out of New Zealand, monetary base out of Japan. Going into Monday, we've got Spanish unemployment change, some meetings in Europe, the PPI out of Europe, some speeches on Monday from various Fed members. We have no U.S. economic data due Monday. AIG Services Index out of Australia on Monday evening. Retail sales and current account there after that, along with their rate announcement from their bank. We've got Halifax HPI coming out this week out of the UK. Various services PMI data out of countries in Europe. That's going into Tuesday. And also out of the UK, retail sales out of Europe, 5 a.m. Eastern Time on Tuesday morning. We've got the non-manufacturing PMI out of the US here Tuesday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. GDP out of Australia Tuesday night. Wednesday, revised GDP out of Europe at 5 a.m. Eastern Time. We've got our non-farm employment data at 8:15 a.m. Eastern Time here in the U.S. Rate announcement out of Canada. Factory orders here in the U.S. Crude oil inventories. And at 2 in the afternoon, Beige Book out of the U.S. Trade balance out of Australia that night. The Bank of Japan with their rate call, again, as they try to defend their currency a bit here still against the dollar, or at least the weakness in the currency. Leading indicators out of Japan going into Thursday. Their press conference from the Bank of Japan announcement, unemployment rate out of Switzerland, French trade balance. We've got bond auction out of Spain and France, German factory orders. UK Bank of England has a rate announcement as well. So we've got a lot of rate announcements this week, and then sure enough, there it is, the ECB, the European Broad Bank rate announcement at 7:45 a.m. Eastern Time on Thursday. So a lot of rate announcements. We've got Australia, Japan, UK, and Europe this week, but the UK and Europe one's obviously a bigger deal to the market, so that'll be Thursday morning. Trade balance out of Canada, trade balance out of the US, that's one of our big 3 each month, so we will be half size in addition to the rate announcements that night, half size ahead of that number. We've got initial jobless claims data, we've got non-farm productivity and unit labor costs, natural gas numbers as well, consumer credit in the afternoon here, followed by manufacturing sales out of the UK, and then Japan releases several data points Thursday in the evening at 6:50 p.m. Eastern Time. Current account, final GDP, bank lending, all out of Japan. Trade balance due out of China at some point in time Thursday as well. Going into Friday, we've got French government budget balance, CPI out of Switzerland, consumer inflation expectations out of the UK, German industrial production, and then Canada's got housing starts, employment and unemployment rate, labor productivity. U.S., we have our non-farm payroll data and our unemployment rate. That is another one of our big three each month, 2 days back to back. So we will be half-sized both Wednesday night and Thursday night here in the U.S. Wholesale inventory is at 10 a.m. Eastern Time out of the U.S. And then you can see China wraps up the week with CPI, PPI, new loans, M2 money supply, fixed asset investments, industrial production, and retail sales. Again, just hope the ranges keep going. We like to see the volatility. It's led to much better activity, much more like we like to see in Forex. Couldn't be happier to see it happening again, and let's hope it just keeps up. Have a great trading week. We'll have new Forex calls Sunday evening to start the week.